Hi there, Michael André Ford, your American Angel Intuitive in Texas. Just a reminder about life, thinking, no limits, angels. You have it all here. As soon as you let go of thinking, and first you've got to understand the difference between being up here thinking and being in your heart. You're doing it all the time, but you, through your ego, your psyche, the part of it that judges and does the knowing. Not real knowing, it's the type of knowing that precludes possibility. We think it's completely real. We think our version of reality kind of trumps all. But I think we also would all agree that the universe is far bigger than mankind is currently grasping, far bigger than our thinking can appreciate, bigger than our science can appreciate as well. Science itself is changing all the time. Our thoughts are changing all the time. What you liked or disliked 10 years ago may be the opposite today. So there's a few basic principles in this talk. And I'm going to just cheat and look at a little tip sheet that I have here. Belief is power. Letting go is power. Embracing the opportunity to explore yourself, others, and the world around you as it really is power. Catching your thoughts before you accept them as fact is power. And unconditional love itself is shiny, infinite, inspiring, and it's already within you. It's never left you. It's a constant. Now, any one of those things could kind of pop you open out of your thinking, out of the world that you knew, into your heart and into a broader reality. Think of it this way. If I say to you that, and this is all angels talking really over the last 12 years, I help people full on feel, hear, and see angels. They speak all languages, all dialects. You can do this as a group. So I'm kind of off the hook for credibility. I've got photos, some videos. Keep watching the shows where people take steps on air, but a lot more happens off camera before, after the taping. People can full on see angels, guides, figures from India, Native American chiefs, Mandela, Muhammad, Jesus, Buddha, Mary, Sri Shirdi Sai Baba, and loved ones as well, and pets too. And this is full on seeing, chatting, getting a hug, get a kiss on the cheek, feel the hand of an angel, hold your hand, or Audrey Hepburn, an angel. It's a lot to grasp. So anytime you have a reaction or you say that's not possible, if you have a legal pad and pen and this is comfortable, write down the "no way Jose" response. And people are doing it. It doesn't mean that Joe in Indiana or Sally in Germany or Frank in New Zealand has to do it. You've got free will. Everything is perfect as it is. You're getting everything you need in life just the way it is right this second. There's really no past or future in a sense. I mean, we know there's a past. We've got a past. But how we approach everything, either through our mind or our heart, or when our thinking is down here, we're sort of in sync with everything. That's when you're in the flow state. As an athlete, you know it when you're on the soccer field or the pitch, and you're just passing through everyone to score the soccer goal. Or when you're being creative, singing, cooking, and so on. There's being here and there's being up here. Once you've understood the difference in vibration, or the unlove up here and love down here, you're off to the races. Suddenly, the universe becomes much more of an ally, a helper. You understand how to simply go with the flow more and go in any direction you wish. So let me throw out the ultimate hand grenade conversationally, which is you can be happy now in this very moment for no reason whatsoever. And if immediately you're like, but write this down. It's your roadmap. You've got a roadmap, a treasure map. Now, one roadmap, we'll call it the roadmap, is going to lead you to your psyche, your ego. You can see how your ego reacts to everyone, everything, politics, and so on. The more you're judging political parties, states within America, like California versus Texas, the more you're not practicing love. The whole point of the exercise in life is to do more love. First, you've got to identify what is unlove, and that's just thinking, and we're going to do it all the time. So take another big deep breath, take another big break, and don't grab a clipboard and start beating yourself up all over again. We're trying to get away from thinking for just a second here so you can experience more openness, so you can openness, so you can find your heart, do the gateless gate Zen thing. Blue Cliff Notes, if anybody pays attention to Lao Tzu, if I pronounced it correctly, or Joshu, Confucius, Buddha, Sai Baba, and so on. Look, these are the eternal questions for man. I'm not going to, quote, answer anything for you, but I am going to point the way to, again, having any answers to any questions. You only have to listen. What does basic listening look like? You do it all the time. What does basic openness look like? Well, flipping the light switch on the wall right there, is the level of difficulty we're talking about, except you are the light switch upside down. You're off when you're up here, and I'm not trying to judge this. Don't beat yourself up for doing too much thinking. But as an angel put it, 7% less thinking a day is the Olympic gold medal standard for the ultimate for mankind, slowing down, getting out of the rat race, and just being, breathing, being more at peace. So here are some basic concepts. Belief is power, letting go is power, catching your thoughts before you accept them as fact is power, embracing the opportunity to explore yourself, others, and the world around you as it really is power. And unconditional love is shiny, infinite, and inspiring and already within you. So you are already full on love. I don't care if it was when you were 10, when you got married, that promotion, the vacation. You've experienced some high points in life. That vibration never left you. It's not as external as you think it is. It's not dependent on this happening or that happening or when I have $1 million in my bank account. You have the ability to be happy for no reason whatsoever right now. And that's such a big dose of truth that you have to almost dismiss it. Because again, your ego is going to have a checklist of what about my cousin? What about my health issue? What about this? But all your health issues in a sense, and keep listening to your doctor, take the medication, and roll however you're going to roll in life. But if you flip the script here a little, the more you're in your heart, the more you allow, the more you can let the universe do its job. If the universe is love, your love, you get to sort of emanate more love, be more light. I'll say it this way, you can see light on everything around you. The Peloton bike, the trees, your dog, on your hands. You can see light if you're a couple flowing between you from heart to heart, hand to hand. You can have angels come in and out of that light make you shapes, figures, animals, butterflies made out of light. Now that's a lot to take in. But for 10 or 12 years, people have been listening to angels, Dull Knife, Red Shirt, Geronimo, Crazy Horse, Red Cloud, White Buffalo, Calf Woman, Vishnu, Krishna, Ganesh, Mer Baba, you name it. So this is about how everything is actually really connected. You're not your thinking, you're not your judgments. Don't beat yourself up over what happened yesterday or the jerk that you think lives down the street or this political party or that political party. In fact, the point of this exercise is to not detach and surrender so you lose who you are identity-wise, but just to go a little more easy, to learn what it means to be love, to practice love. Mother Teresa said it really well, and she's wonderful. Reconcile for those who have a problem with Mother Teresa today. I don't know if you've noticed, but humans could find a problem with anything. Sushi, Fridays, sports, this channel, that channel on TV, this show, this politician, that politician. I think this day and age, we're more opinionated than ever, and don't change a thing. But the second you want to simply stop wasting so much energy, I know people are really into like the whole world environment, saving energy, climate stuff this, climate stuff that. The real climate is your own climate, what you're generating. Are you generating, I don't want to be too extreme here, hatred, negativity, but technically most of our thinking is a complete waste of energy. You're going to do it all the time. I'm going to do thinking all the time. I'm going to do some a second I get off and for the rest of the day. I'm going to judge stuff and react, stress, worry, reject stuff, fear. It's fear-based. And again, ego is a total waste of life. So your opportunity for growth, your opportunity for expansion, which is the first thing you will never say after a job loss, a health issue, a divorce, a car crash, is to open up more, go with the flow, let go of what you can let go of, and embrace more of what you can embrace more of. What are we talking about embracing here? Love, breathing, inner calm. There's just simply a greater flow within you and around you that you can experience in a greater way the second you're willing to pay attention. So if you're listening to my voice, you're watching this, you're on the right path. I have photos of angels. Those photos, whether they're historical figures and they're photos of historical figures, can move, wink, smile. We know for a fact photographs shouldn't be able to move. The photos of angels in light energy form vary. It's not orbs. This is not about any organization, any one way. Like the quantum, I forgot what it's called, quantum physics crowd, spiritual, I say it all the time. I'm like, hey, let it come in at a cellular level as you're getting a hug from an angel. But every crowd is trying to swallow the concept of the universe, the concept that love is everywhere, the concept that we can be more, breathe more, experience more peace. And so there's a Buddha crowd, there's a near-death experience crowd, there's the quantum crowd. They're seeking the light. The Buddhist crowd is seeking the light in a different way. The scientific crowd's technically seeking the light in a different way. The Stoic crowd, Plato, Socrates, Marcus Aurelius, whoever, you can meet them. They're also doing it. Gymnasts are doing it. What I'm trying to say is there's 4,000 to 40,000 to 4 million collective crowds that identify a certain way. They use certain lingo, certain things are okay, certain practices are preferred, and so on. You get the idea. We all have ways that we roll to try to approach embracing living more. All of it's good. Don't change a thing. I'm just trying to point out that it's bigger than any one group's methodology or approach. This is about getting away from words, concepts, this entire talk, to allow for more love to simply come in and for you to feel it, be it. It's just a shinier, sparklier you. You have a higher self, you have a soul. The second you let go, breathe more, allow more, it's more in you and around you, and you're connected to all there is. So let me say it another way. This is better for you to have this chat with angels on how to slow your roll, how to have more fun, how to have your cake and eat it too, so that the cake, no calories, and you can repeat the process. And remember, getting help with any situation is awesome. But there was a way that you got there in the first place that just has to do with your programming up here. So it could be about relationships, jobs, and so on. And I think the record is 9 hours, 48 pages of answers. It's wonderful. How fast can you write? How fast can you operate one of these? That's the basic level of what you need to do to listen to Einstein, Vishnu, and Plato, and Mother Teresa, and Mary to get your answers for work, life, love, and happiness. I'm going to read a passage from Listening to Angels. It was written by angels. I saw balls of light as I was typing. This is 2014. It's like a 25-minute read. It's $7.99 on Amazon. It's been number 2 twice in Amazon's, I think, angels category. It's got 7 photos of angels in there. The book is designed for you to just do your own listening. If I didn't have to tell anybody anything, that would be wonderful. I try not to, when I help somebody in a service, to tell them a single thing besides like the basics for how to do basic listening, which you already know how to do. Everyone thinks this is super complex, to see angels, to see your relatives, to hear, to feel. It's why the whole spirituality industry, hardcore industry, the institutes, the seminars, the experts exist. A lot of them want to do it through science, through angels, through light beings. You can meet light beings. You can do God and do the Neil Donald Walsh thing. I'm going to just try to keep making this as simple as possible. You have it all. You have more skills than Tyler Henry, the Hollywood medium, than the Long Island medium, than James Van Praagh, name anybody. You have more skills. You just might not give yourself credit for it or think that you can do this. You don't have to go get certified at that amazing Arthur Findlay College in the UK. Do it. Go get certified. You get what I'm trying to say is keep doing exactly what you're doing. But it is so simple, so in front of you, and so available right now that it's not future-based, past-based, organization-based, or based on anything made by mankind, suggested by mankind. It just is in the now, right now. And I'm telling you, it's basic listening, basic feeling, basic seeing. You have it all. So that little book is kind of a little miracle book. If you think I wrote it, super awesome. I'd be on cloud 9 and totally complimented, but it was clearly angels. It's gentle language like unconditional love, compassion, letting go. It gives you very basic steps. 7 angels step forward to help you park your thinking long enough to sit still here and receive all with a capital A. So it's just basic listening in your heart. Here's a passage, though, in the appendix. And the section is just entitled, What's Up with Mankind? Why Angels Now? What a perfect point in this discussion to bring up, well, how can, why angels now? Awareness for mankind is on the horizon. Call it a spiritual awakening if you wish. It's a chance for all to grow. Mankind is ready for more unconditional love and compassion for all. And more compassion by all, for all is needed. Mankind is ready for change from rat race mode. Happiness is obtained in the absence of ego. Ego is afraid to be vulnerable, to let go, and to be in the unknown. Again, there's nothing to lose and nothing to gain. Move past seeing the negative. So there's nothing you have to change here. This is about growing your awareness, not more thinking. not more rituals, not more organizational this, not taking a class at the Machu Picchu grounds in Peru, not going to an ashram in India necessarily. Do it if you already had it planned. So there's nothing to lose and nothing to gain here. It's already simply existing. You have to sort of pull back from thinking, which is such a heavy Sherlock Holmes magnifying scope. I forgot what it's called, looking glass thing. That it sort of hijacks the moment and the information flow and what's available right here, right now. Okay, compassion can be taught through one's actions. How? Slowing down would do a world of wonder for most people. Doing it consistently is where the problems and opportunities lie. So stay present. Start right now, letting go. Start right now. Letting go means less thinking. Do not get lost in perceived tasks, roles, ego, etc. Being in the moment is to do compassion for all. For individuals, an egoless path would be great, but it's just not realistic. Allow ego to serve as a reminder when it pops up. A reminder for what you decide. How about a reminder to breathe? Make it up. A reminder to stretch, to smile, to relax, to shift. How about a reminder to enjoy each moment as it comes? Believe that all moments can be the same. So believe that all moments can truly be the same. Now, we're not trying to go with some religious, philosophical approach to life here. Just if a moment can be sparkly, happy, relaxed, you've got inner calm, peace, a broader perspective, you're rolling with everything, and you're happy. Believe that you can have more of those moments strung together for a longer period of time. Whether it's a moment at work or a moment looking at nature, all moments are the same and peaceful, and that's a fact. The universe, it's a constant. Outside in nature or just around you and within you, the happiness is there, the stillness is there. Some people call it stillness. The presence of life, the universe is here. And only thinking something can pull you out of that flow. And trust me when I say we're all NASCAR or Formula One professional drivers. You're a Lewis Hamilton. I can't think of another driver right now, but we're all professional Formula One NASCAR drivers going like this as fast as we can with thoughts, thinking, what is Michael saying about this? I disagree. We judge and react to everything. We do a knowing that's not a false knowing. It sounds like way too harsh. But we do knowing that precludes possibility. And Byron Katie's great at this. You're absolutely convinced that when you got divorced from that other person that they're a total jerk. They stole your bank accounts. They took this. They did that. If we grabbed 100 of us, we would all agree that person was probably a jerk. But she has a way with taking a crowbar to your thinking and showing you that there's a broader perspective, broader possibility, and to help you divorce from thinking so you can breathe, let a little light in and say, oh, yeah, events didn't happen to me, they happened for me. As many guests on my Angels, Positivity, and Love show said kind of in a serendipitous way last year, events don't happen to you, they happen for you. So there's something up with this whole spirituality thing, with angels, with this concept of a broader reality, broader universe. I mean, if you think human beings are at the top of the, we'll call it food chain, apex, the triangle, whatever, and you think thinking itself, science, I think, therefore I am, and that science is, and whatever is in a science textbook is the only thing you should ever know, or in some other book, that's fine. Do what you're going to do, but that's an extremely limited approach to life. There's a much broader way everything kind of happens. And you can chat with angels, light beings, with Einstein, with Gandhi, your Uncle Joe and your Aunt Martha. You can full on see these figures. You know who Aunt Martha is. I get often asked, how do you know, like, when you're seeing light, does it mean this? Or how do you know an angel is this angel or this is that? I just say, well, how do you know a good cup of coffee is a good cup of coffee? Well, you say, yum, it's delicious, you light up, you're delighted, you order another cup of coffee, and you go back to the same establishment and closely guard that secret because you're like, wow, greatest cup of coffee in the world. And you tell your 10 best friends to come join you for that amazing cup of coffee. There's something about that amazing cup of coffee you just know. So whatever that is that you're using on your work front because you're a great business person, you use it on art because you're a great artist, a singer, everyone tells you they love your singing, you feel it, it leaves smiles on everyone's faces. Whatever that is what we're talking about doing more of here. You have a unique life path. You didn't just come into this world to do whatever you think, to float around like a cork in life in the Atlantic Ocean, bobbing around and just sort of like a pinball on a pinball machine, get whacked all over the place. So The second you can recognize the difference between what goes on up in the brain, one type of flow, it's not love. When you're love and your thinking is down here, you're in your heart. That's love. So what is love? Love is just more awareness, more consciousness. There's an entire, like I said about the quantum field group, they're seeking the light. The light's already within. They only have to open their eyes and see love and light everywhere within on everyone else. What's great is it's going to be so much more available shortly where you'll just see light flowing between people. You can do it now. I don't know how many takers there are going to be, but think what happens for real estate people. Business, real estate people, they have to enter into an agreement. So you've got 4 groups of Indonesians. We're talking about Indonesian real estate. 4 groups of potential investors. You happen to be super aware, super paying attention. You can see the light on these folks and decide which group is truly the right fit, the right highest vibe, the right intention, the right business partners that are not going to take the money and run, are going to do a good job. So there's something beyond words we're talking about that exists. There's a duality here. There's the non-duality crowd. There's the Buddhist crowd. What am I skipping? Mindfulness, meditation crowds. They're all pointing to the same direction here. The Zen crowd and everything else. This is again about finding the gateless gate, the opening openness to get to here and get through the world that you knew. I'm quoting Seth, a light being from Jane Roberts in the 1970s, talks about it's not going to be found externally. My guardian angel Min says that. There's a quote in my book. Stop seeking from outside sources. Everything you need is within, and that's the only place you can find it. Peaceful Warrior, the movie, Way of the Peaceful Warrior, Dan Millman, Socrates, the gas station attendant, says the same thing to Dan, the gymnastics student. The Alchemist talks about it. Esther Hicks talks about it with Abraham Hicks group, which I believe would be more like light beings. Everything you need is right here, and there's universal forces in place to help you kind of come awake or become more aware of the difference between here and here. This is not about resistance or fear or judging or reacting or worrying. It's about rolling with the flow and simply placing your focus where you'll place your focus and where you want to go. So 7% less thinking a day is the max, like letting go. I mean, it doesn't mean you can't have a day with 20% less thinking, but pull out a calculator. I've already forgotten the answer. I think it's like an hour and a half less thinking a day is like enlightenment. It's the max amount of letting go you have to do. I don't think an hour and a half of less thinking a day, less worrying, less stress, less tasks, roles, accomplishments, failures, all that stuff is asking too much. You could have a meditation practice, have a cup of tea, put your feet up, grab a beer, look at nature on your back patio, go for a run. Exercise is a form of compassion. There's a trillion layers and forms of compassion you can experience. Your growth, your personal growth and expansion never stops. The thing about the groups, you could be a podcast host who's really into Buddhism, meditation, mindfulness, transcendental meditation, only the India stuff. And a lot of times for us, when we do the group thing, IONS, consciousness studies, because there's a scientist who's part of that organization, there's only one approach to the concept of consciousness. We end up limiting ourselves by going through systems of thought and thinking. And guess what? That's the only way an organization works, is thinking, words, structure, thoughts. So this may or may not make any sense, but you have it all here, and anytime you want to actually talk to the universe, engage in a little more openness, you can not just get the words to all your questions. How fast can you write? Again, 49 pages in 9 hours is the record. And those questions and answers only last for so long. If you're a salesperson, you got all your answers for business. I figure it's good for 4 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 months. Depends how well you asked your questions, what you got. But at some point, you're going to exhaust all those answers. You'll have a whole new batch of questions. Welcome to being human. So nothing's stopping you from going back to the well to ask questions again and get answers all over again. In fact, that's what being human is about. We're never quite satisfied for very long. I'm super pesky on the uptake front for this whole spirituality thing. I mean, I've asked the same question 100 times, 1,000 times. I need to hear it 2,000 times. But I'm a fast teacher, so I help people let go very fast out of their situations, out of their drama, out of what they think they know, as much of a fight as they want to put up with their ego. I've only had one really tough person in the last 5 years. But everyone else seems to get with the program. They just simply fall into their natural abilities to pay attention. You're using that natural navigation system, that natural listening, awareness, sensing, being all the time, driving. when you're not stuck in traffic cursing the drivers around you, when you're at work and actually having a good day, when someone gives you a hug, you give a hug and it's a legit hug. Basically, anytime you're out of thinking. So when you did flip the light switch there, did you analyze the light switch? Did you have a chat with the spouse? Hey, I'm going to go hit the light switch in the bedroom and I want to plan this out, make sure I do it right. No, you just hit the light switch and knew the light was going to go on and trusted that the light was going to go on. And that's the simplicity of this entire exercise. Let me keep reading from this book, Listening to Angels. Again, pick it up for $7.99 on Amazon. There are 7 photos of angels. I sell those photos individually on my website for $3 a pop. So whatever I'm trying to say for a value here, if that's 7 times 3, that's a $21 cost at my website. This book, it pays for itself from the concept of buying angel photos off my website. So compassion can be taught through one's actions. How? Slowing down would do a world of wonder for most people. Doing it consistently is where the problems and opportunities lie. So stay present. Start right now. Letting go means less thinking. Do not get lost in perceived tasks, roles, egos, etc. Being in the moment is to do compassion for all. For individuals, an egoless path would be great, but it's just not realistic. Allow ego to serve as a reminder when it pops up. A reminder for what? You decide. How about a reminder to breathe? How about a reminder to enjoy each moment as it comes? Believe that all moments can be the same. Whether it's a moment at work or a moment looking at nature, all moments are the same and peaceful. Only thinking something can interfere with this. Likewise, there are not separate paths for mankind or separate worlds for individuals. One is one. Through awareness and owning the consequences of one's thoughts and actions, a person begins to see how all of life is truly interconnected in one. Now, it may take a few lifetimes for somebody to really appreciate how everything's interconnected, or it may come to you on your last breath. Like out of Last Samurai, the samurai says, the Japanese actor says, all the cherry blossoms are beautiful. They're perfect as they are. He was always looking for, I think, the perfect cherry blossom. So faith in all can lead to a change in mankind. Now, this faith isn't a religious faith, a non-religious faith. It's the same. It's called letting go. It's connecting to all there is. So faith in all can lead to a change in mankind. This is the path for all of man. This is about man bringing peace and joy to all. This is about your personal growth in your life and finding the next stage in your soul's development, as well as the continued evolution of mankind. The greatest gift is allowing. This is a big concept. Few people appreciate the concept of allowing, the concept of continued learning. This isn't about staking a flag in the ground saying you know something. To say you know something, unless it's love in the universe itself, it really is concrete thinking again and resistance to what is the larger picture. So that's what I was trying to talk to you about science. Science is based on a lot of locked-in thinking, and you got to do it. You're going to have formulas. You want to build rocket ships. You want to make more technology and stuff like that. But imagine what happens when scientists start to actually get with the groove or get their groove on with the universe and realize, holy cow, we really know like this much in the Atlantic Ocean. And that the second a person has one of these, a pen, a piece of paper, some of these, and a willingness here, you're off to the races, getting your formulas filled in, and so on. I've just spent 12 years writing notes for virtual tea to 10,000 people, scientists, philosophers, anthropologists, show hosts, you name it. I am a glutton for abuse and punishment. People say, no way, Jose, angels can't exist, the universe doesn't exist, light beings don't exist, and it may be the light being crowd saying they don't want to meet light beings. I've seen it all by now. And I've learned to laugh more, tell better dad jokes, hopefully, and not think twice about it because I get tons of yeses. I've gotten like 4,000 or 5,000 yeses. I have 100 testimonials. I think it's 82 written, 18 video testimonials, but technically the show is a testimonial itself. People are at least seeing their light on their hands before the show, or maybe sage smoke. I light sage, I blow sage to you, and I'll do that right now. So my only rule or bit of structure to talk structure is give yourself permission to let go and let happen what you'll let happen. Like you don't have to see a little ball of light fly by right now. That's happened in a few shows for the show guest. Check out Ronnie Lanzer in the APL Spotlight Series, episode 3, I think. She's a South African in Bremen, Germany. She had a ball of light come like this. And then coming out in April, maybe April 7th or April 21st, coming back on the show, is a TikTok superstar with a 1.1 million audience. She's super intuitive. You should have loved her the first time. Like Gazelle, but it's Lizelle Elliott. And during the show, an angel named Heather flew right by, and I tried to break it out. I think I stuck it at the beginning of the video. It doesn't matter whether you see videos of angels, photos of angels. Photos of angels will move, pulse, flash. You can get any smell, flowers, sage. I don't have to light the sage for you to smell sage. Dull Knife, Red Shirt, Geronimo can bring it to you. Ask Sai Baba, Sri Shirdi Sai Baba, for that one person out there who insists I have to say Sri Shirdi before Sai Baba. But Sai Baba, the one from 100 years ago who's Mr. Miracles, can bring you the Indian temple incense that you couldn't buy in any store anywhere, and you'd be lucky if you went to India for a year searching out this incense smell to get it there. An ancient incense smell. So when I say no limits, I mean no limits. There's healing to be had. It's between you and angels. I don't hear your topics. I don't hear your health situation. I just make sure you've got the communication lines open and establish that you're getting your answers, you're hearing your answers, all languages, all dialects, and the way you need to hear it. Angels, there's no privacy. You just hear everything the way you need to hear it. Angels know how to navigate everything. So you have fun. There's some humor. You could be in the middle of stage 5, 6, 4, 3 cancer, and it's a big freaking deal. You're worried. You're carrying a lot on you. But angels know how to still come in and gently say what they need to say with a little oomph. So you get sparkly-eyed, and there's hope, and there's laughter, there's healing, there's joy. Here's my one rule. Give yourself permission to let go. Ask your higher self to help you. Ask your ancestors, your relatives, angels, the universe. Please include the word angels if I could insist on one thing. It's why it's my only rule. Just be like, hey, angels, get me out of my head, into my heart, make this nice, help me smell the sage. And if I can, I'd love to catch an extra wildflower, lavender, wisteria, hibiscus, you name the flower. Just tell angels to make it nice. Catch a little bit of sage where you're at. It doesn't matter whether you're in South Africa right now, New Zealand, Taiwan, Germany, and so on, Iceland. People have done this all over the world. I was a guest on 46 shows in 3 years, 2 years, 2.5 years. I do this for the show host, the guest, the audience. It doesn't matter if this is 3 years in the future and you're watching this. Catch what you can catch. You're letting the universe do its job. Get out of your own way, out of your head, into your heart. It's the only way you're going to perform as an athlete. Getting onto the field, the tennis court, the basketball court, and so on. It's the only way you're going to be able to write your book is to get out of your head, out of your mind, into your heart. You could argue, well, no, it's my mind that's doing everything. When you're thinking, your mind drops into your heart, you're connected to all there is, that's when you're flowing, the flow state. It doesn't matter whether you're special forces and you're Chris Craighead, Obi-Wan Nairobi, saving 700 people in Kenya from those terrorists. He had an angel get in his car. I'd say it's Archangel Uriel that he met. Check out the Sean Ryan show and watch that. Granted, it's 4.5, 6 hours long, but when you get to that part, you can tell he's speaking from experience. I'm speaking from experience. You're speaking from experience. I want you to have more fun, loving experiences in life. Catch the sage. If you want to put your hand out and feel it on your palm, you can do that as well. Play this over, but more importantly, I do this practically, and I do it in every show. So watch some shows, some shorts, other videos, and so on. Feel what you can feel. Do not judge. It's up to you how fast you want to be on the uptake on this, and to pay attention or not pay attention. It's totally up to you. Will be the first to say I'm probably the slowest person in the Western world on the uptake. No kidding. So it might sound like I'm saying something, but after 12 years and hearing the same thing from angels and helping people the same way, but it keeps growing as well. I use my hands a lot more. You can feel my energy. You can feel love. And I've had guests lately say it on air, so keep paying attention. You've got to usually wait to the end of the show to see them take steps. We're doing stuff before the show, after the show that is much bigger and broader. And the point of the show isn't to prove anything. The point of the show is to have them on and to share their experience, their story, their insights, their wisdom, and do a little bit of angels and have some fun too. So please subscribe, like, comment, and share on that. Every time you do it, don't be shy. It helps us grow the channel so others can enjoy this. So let me get back to this last little bit here. The greatest gift is allowing. All is growth and change. This is frightening for some. There's nothing to do here. Slow down the doing. Instead, breathe, smile, and relax. Appreciate all. Compassion for all is life. This is also about acceptance for all. There's a lot of people who claim that they're doing acceptance for all in sort of a social dynamic way that you'll see all over the news these days, the last 10 years. I thought it was really bad in the 1980s, late, when I was at college. There was only one way to think, one way to behave. I can remember a very specific multicultural class where I was afraid to speak up. Everything was fear-based. If you didn't think that the way the professor did, you'd be in trouble. So I kept my mouth shut. I got an A. I did the best I could. That's how I was functioning at my consciousness level then. And I watched a football player, I believe, kind of put up a fight with the professor, just asking proper questions like, hey, what's this all about? Why can't I think a different way? Why can't I hold a different belief system? And I don't think they did so hot in the class. Now, I think that's magnified. I never thought I would see a greater amount of resistance, fear, judging going on the planet. But you choose, where you want to put your focus, how you want to roll with your belief system. If you're running around about one political candidate or another, you're probably not practicing love in that moment, or a relaxed inner calm, or being the sparkly-eyed self. And you could be the most spiritual person, the most meditative person, the most mindful person. I love turning to angels because they just have a great way of handling anything that's complex. They call it complex. If you're doing love, then it's humor, laughter, embracing all how it is already. Everyone's doing the best they can to their consciousness level, how they're wired. I know that can sound brutal, though, if we're talking about bad people and stuff like that. You choose where you place yourself and how you flow your energy. So it's up to you to figure out how you're going to expand in learning, appreciation, allowing, and your awareness. I mean, grow your awareness, don't grow your thinking. Most of our actions, unfortunately, during the day are going to grow our thinking and what we think we know. It's just, humans are interesting. What are we going to do? I'm interesting, you're interesting, I'm complex, you're complex. But a lot of the time, hopefully, we're jovial, fun, more like light and sparkly. You can experience more of that anytime you want. So, compassion for all is life. This is also about acceptance for all. Regard others as yourself generously and without fixation. Believe in all. I mean, that's the golden rule. And that sweeps through many religions and philosophies and so on. It is much simpler than people think. Again, this is because this is not about thinking, but less thinking. Open yourself up to life. Speak with us. This is angels talking, not me. Be. Speak with us. Be. And angels said, there is no time, we just are. I'll park this. That's the book, Listening to Angels, endorsed by Anita Morjani. Thank you, Anita, if you're ever seeing this. She's a 3 times New York Times bestseller, near-death experiencer. I think there's a movie coming out about her that will be out in a couple years. Absolutely fantastic. Okay, back to this. Belief is power. So however you're wired, in whichever way you're rolling, Republicans, Democrats only, California, Texas, Tuesdays are good, but Fridays are bad. Sushi is good, but sushi is bad. I mean, you're rolling how you're rolling, and you're feeding, which one are you going to feed? Remember the wolf story and the one you feed, the show. The entire point of that #1 podcast is, how you're flowing your energy. Are you doing love? Probably not, unfortunately. We're not all saints. We're not all enlightened. We're not all levitating off the ground. We're definitely not doing love. We're doing tons of judging and tons of knowing. This is right. This is wrong. Angels will tell you there's no such thing as right or wrong. I'm not saying robbing a bank's good. I'm just trying to say right or wrong, it's here. And a lot of us operate in that wavelength our entire lives and would never know any better. But there's proper understanding, which is just flows, unconditional love and then unlove. So there's a trillion layers of uncompassion, non-awareness, unconsciousness, whatever you want to call it. And there's a trillion layers of more and more openness, love, and so on. And the universe is really big. And you can meet, again, light beings, angels, fairies, a jinn who's East Asian mysticism, elemental genie, if you wish. Figures from Asia, figures from religious quadrants, figures from India, your relatives, your pets. You can hear living pets. They sound like 3rd graders. Everything speaks. Trees will talk to you. Hummingbirds, you can hear them. You can see light on everything. You can see your light flowing in really cool ways. I like doing that stuff because it's easy. It's Disney-like. My job's to get you out of here and get you to here so you can get going on your own journey, and everything is direct. What more can I offer? I love what I do because I try to stay nowadays out of your details. I don't see your questions. I don't see your answers. I used to go over all that like 10 years ago with people. And you can, once you've owned it solo, you have a twin sister, you have a twin brother, you have friends, You're relaxed, you're all getting along, you've all owned it solo. You can do group seeing, group hearing, group vibing, group feeling, group smelling the same sage that no one lit. It's an angel or a figure from India bringing you a very special incense. You can close your eyes and have a lucid dream, greater awareness, consciousness flow. Like this, you're just sitting here like this. Hawaii comes to you, India comes to you, Tibet, the Middle East, ancient Egypt, Nepal. There's no limits on the locations. You can be in Australia. It's a bunch of angels, a bunch of the local figures, Native American chiefs. It's all unconditional love. You have to understand that there's a possibility that love is love and everything else is details. So belief is power. How you roll, where you want to put your energy is where you're going to put it. Most of the time we're firing arrows at people. I'd argue hug yourself first, hug others, learn what a hug is, be gentler, be kinder, show more compassion to yourself and others, allow for all. It can take a lifetime, it can take 5 lifetimes for a person to like really understand even the basic concept of this. I mean, I'm still learning. Be kind. The way this would accelerate is if you could actually see your flows. When you're up here and what that flow looks like and what you're like when you're here and how connected you are to everything beyond words. And you can see those flows. So that may be the way that humanity jumps a little in their consciousness awareness levels, because there's many different compassions within all. I'm quoting Plato. Compassion's within every person. There's just many different levels of awareness. So your awareness level today fluctuates. You can be totally checked out after having watched the news, and then for a week you could be locked up tight, shut tight like an oyster. I've met tons of people who are shut tight like oysters. I've been shut tight like an oyster. I will be next Tuesday. But you can also just be laughing and allowing more and walking a smoother path anytime you wish. Okay, so letting go is power. Letting go is letting go. This is thinking. This is letting go. This is thinking. This is being in your heart, open. Sometimes your thinking's down here, and that's when you're super artistic, super creative, super inspired, super this, super that. It's still being down in your heart. And if you think about it, what is even the heart and what is the mind? There's just 2 different types of flows. One's, we'll call it up, and one's kind of down. One's consciousness, awareness, love, higher and higher vibrations, broader and broader connection to all there is, and one's more cut off, all the way down to dental floss for a life flow, a life force. That would be Scrooge in Christmas Carol. I love using him as the poster child of being cut off from life. He cared about one thing and one thing only, money. That was it. Mean guy. But we forget that 79 pages later, and a 2-minute lucid dream with ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future, whoever they were, universal light beings, angels, ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future, they kicked his butt, and he had an epiphany, and he started to become joy itself. He embodied joy. He still did great business. I mean, think of it, at the end of that 79-page book, or the movies, any of the movies, he walks down the street, his field of light is so much further out. People would have run the other way, now wave hi to him first. He could be in a bad mood. He lost his fantasy football league the night before. He just didn't get enough points. He lost by a half point to his rival, and he's in a foul mood, but he's now the new Scrooge, and he's so vibed out that people are still saying hi, and he's still radiating joy subconsciously. That is what this is all about. Have your cake and eat it too. No calories in the cake. Each cake equals a smile. Own the bakery. Own a fleet of trucks and airplanes and ship those cakes all around the world. But again, each cake equals a smile, no calories. So no limits is no limits. You knew it as a kid. You knew it at some point in work when you're having a good flow state for 2 months, 2 years. No one ever said no to you when you picked up the phone to make that sales call. As an athlete, as an artist, I call it just being happy, being here. Let yourself go. Your mind's going to follow. Don't follow your mind as much as you think you should, because this isn't about thinking. Okay, catching your thoughts before you accept them as fact is power. Good luck with that. It could be a whole lifetime, a decade. Mindfulness classes, meditation classes can help you. Just Byron Katie can help you. I mean, there are reasons all these people are out there teaching Zen, Buddhism, mindfulness, meditation, you name it. But remember, no one can ultimately show you how to find yourself here. Technically not even me, but that's where angels come in. They just know how to do it the right way. You can be shown all sorts of stuff, your past, your future. angels can alter your path as well. Some stuff's written. You came in this lifetime to experience certain things. And I remember still someone having an illness. That illness was not going to go away, but they had a direct chat. I stay out of the whole thing. But they can ask about modulating, modifying, shortening, alleviating one aspect of that illness where it was permitted to go from 100% of, let's say, pain to 30% or shaking or something. This is the type of, like, as humans, we're not used to walking around and saying, hey, how could I shed my limits today? How can I be more loved today? How can I be kinder to me today, kinder to my neighbors? How can mowing the lawn be fun? Good luck with that. Thich Nhat Hanh, Pieces Every Step. What a great little book. Talks about washing the dishes. I got a kitchen right here, kitchen counter. Washing the dishes. How could you possibly be having fun and volunteering to wash dishes? But that's exactly the point here, is you really don't know anything up here. And the more you're steeped in tradition, steeped in that PhD, steeped in being the most famous podcast show host, the more you're trapping yourself in roles, identities, and so on, and more you're just basically probably, like most of us, unhappy with or resisting something in your life. And all this is about is having a little more wiggle room, a little more space for maneuver, a little more ability to breathe, a little more ability to be at peace, a little more reminders, remembrance of who you really are. You're big, you're light. You never lost that light step that you used to have in college or at that one workplace where everything sizzled, or in that relationship that was smooth. It was never about the relationship at the workplace or the 65 yeses and $6 billion in deals you landed. It's something bigger than that you have never lost. Your opportunity is to remember, if you can remember, to remember when you remember. Now, I'd like to say that's original. I thought for a good 5 years, I finally came up with an original sentence that wasn't uttered by Plato. Chogyam Trungpa, you should meet him. I mispronounce all the lingo. I called it Rinpoche. It's Rinpoche. But you can meet him. People who have studied under him have reunited with him. Kupuna Auntie Margaret in Hawaii, same thing. Someone who, that was her teacher, got to reunite with her. So I thought that was the most original saying, but instead it's Songyel Rinpoche, who wrote a foreword for a Tibetan book of dying for someone else. There's a million Tibetan book of dying books out there, but this person wrote a little foreword that said, remember to remember. I've been teaching my students for 35 years this phrase. So there's nothing original that I'm saying except, hey, angels exist, trust this is so, and your answers, your hugs, and much more will come. You don't even have to trust that much. You're already outbounding one way as if you were taking a bow and arrow and a blindfold and just shooting arrows straight up all day long. Now you're wondering why you get into a car wreck, a divorce, and everything else, or have a health issue. Eventually all that thinking is going to bring the house down, and one of those arrows is going to get pretty close and maybe even scratch you on the foot. Why not learn to do what the Zen folks talk about with the look at the bullseye, hit a bullseye. You're one with the target, one with the bow, one with the arrow, one with the moment. Thwack, bullseye. And there's the guy who I think did 168 of them in a row, split the prior arrow, did it. I think they shut the lights off, blindfolded him, and he still split the one with all. Okay, keep going with this. Embracing the opportunity to explore yourself. Last place anyone wants to go is their own heart. What is that heart? It's pure love. Opening openness. The gateless gate, the doorless door. Zen, Buddhist stuff, Blue Cliff Notes, they talk about this. Joshu, I love it. The student comes running up to the Zen master. What about it when I seek to be Buddha? And the teacher says, what a tremendous waste of energy. And the student says, well, what about it when I don't waste energy? Then you are Buddha, the teacher responded. I mean, that says it all. The same student or a different student comes running up to the teacher and says, hey, can you tell me about the fact of my own human nature, my nature? And the teacher said, sure. Is there anything you dislike? How can you dislike something? It's okay if you're allergic to sushi. Don't eat sushi. That's the entire point here. When I say there's no right and wrong, I'm not endorsing bank robbery. But when you dislike or worse, reject, react, fear, stress, worry, slap massive labels, evil on stuff, you're resisting what already is, and there's a huge lesson in that. Many, many philosophies, many people point to it. It means you've pulled out of the love flow to waste time and energy on unlove. And unfortunately, that's going to be the predominance, the proportion, the majority of our day, period, because we're human. And it's not in the cards that we're ditching thinking. You don't need thinking. I mean, just imagine again, if scientists actually got with the flow and started listening to the universe, they want to meet light beings, the UFO, UAP crowd, perfect example. A lot of focus is being put on government or other organizations, companies, crash retrieval, technology, fine. You got to do Freedom of Information Act requests. It's historical. It's this, it's that. It's blow for blow. It's like following fantasy football at a detailed level, which team, which player, which coach is doing what. I mean, you can get lost in it. I don't know how often unconditional love, compassion, mankind's expansion, awareness is being mentioned. I don't see it that often. It's more what happened to this fighter jet or this group or that group, and that's fine. But do those folks actually want to meet a light being? And we're talking only the unconditional love of the football spectrum, NFL, not JV, not high school, not Pee Wee football, not the new type of Canadian football, the CFL, the Canadian Football League. We're talking only the NFL, the unconditional love crew. Do they want to meet light beings? Do they want to meet, angels? Some of them, if you can relax on the angel topic on this, some come from really far out. You still see them with wings, without wings, whatever you're comfortable with. I make sure people do both ways because the human brain and the way humans roll, half the humans out there won't want to see wings again. It's just too much. They can't handle it. And the other half, I'll try to think what the other means. You have to have the wings. It's the only way you view angels. We could all look at the same piece of sushi and make a million pronouncements. When I worked on Wall Street, everyone was paid to know something. If an airplane went down on CNN, suddenly everybody is the NTSB, a former Boeing executive. I mean, everyone was an expert. And, the big thing on Wall Street, too, was to say, I don't know in crucial situations. I think that's probably the most important thing is, hey, I don't know, but I'm willing to pay more attention. That will get you a long way with all of this. You're already firing your energy off all day long, so stick with that. Just stick with a more positive version of blindly shooting those arrows up. Maybe turn the arrows a little that way and shoot them off so you know you're never going to hit yourself. Be more cognizant, aware, mindful of how you're spending your energy without expecting a return of any sort. But I would suggest trusting that the universe is conscious. Everything's conscious. Trees, animals, every act, every moment is sacred. I have a great expression around here somewhere that literally is all about that. And I have it right here. There are no ordinary moments. Every task, interaction, and decision is infused with sacred potential waiting to be revealed. Now, I don't know who said that, but it sounds like it's out of Dan Millman's Peaceful Warrior or something like that, but it's probably someone else. Okay. Embracing the opportunity to explore yourself, others, and the world around you as it really is power. Okay? And by that, I just mean being more in alignment with the way things already work. Seth, and I have this on my Twitter account, Seth had that great quote from 1970. I think it's The Nature of Reality, or Seth Speaks. To go here, you have to go through the world that you thought you knew and into a broader reality. It's not going to look the same as when you left. Everything is bigger, sparklier, shinier, and easier. Far easier and far simpler. That's what science is about to figure out. That's what mankind's about to figure out. You're much more energy and light than you are all this resistance, heaviness, structure, thinking, judging, knowing, fear, and illness, and all the other stuff. Miracles. Miracles are happening all the freaking time. You only have to pay attention. You can experience mini miracles, miracles. I'll just call miracles the stuff that happens when you're not doing thinking. And from thinking standpoint, it's a miracle because it's love. And love knows no limits. You're here, you're connected to the universe, you got a huge fiber optic cable. Angels can help you expand that fiber optic cable, that foundation. You might have gone through 19 near-death experiences or this illness in a wheelchair for that long. I'm not making light of any of this. This is actually people's paths, and allowed them to open up, to connect more to everything in and around them, to then help and serve others as a healer. It's the traditional way of becoming a healer and helping others is usually have to go through just tremendous turmoil, personal, car wreck, this, near-death experience that. It's just the only way. I got a job layoff with an hour's notice, 72 other people. I think it was the third stealth round of layoffs at my law firm back in New York. I was their top publicist, making CEO pay, working around the clock. And I was the only one excited because I wanted out of there, wanted to be in New York, back in Austin, had bought a home. And so I knew it was my chance to get to Austin, but it's still a shakeup. Losing a job, if you in any way liked your job, is a big freaking deal. And if you don't have any future plans, it's a big freaking deal. And I had a bunch of other like micro kind of life stuff happen that I popped out of thinking briefly, and I was like, whoa, that's just a lot of thinking, and I'm okay. And then I started seeing, feeling, hearing. I grabbed a camera, started shooting, photos of angels, Plato. There's a photo of Plato at my website. Go check it out. Again, these photos will move, a fairy. You can see light coming off of a static photo, and light energy form for angels, a fairy, fairies. Tinkerbell exists, good luck with that. Plato exists, good luck with that. It took me 6 months for each of them, trying to think my way through it. How could Tinkerbell exist? But I have an Omega Institute staffer who met Tinkerbell, and in her testimonial, the last line says, "And Tinkerbell is my very favorite." I'm off the hook. What can I do? And this goes on for every single person. They get a direct experience. Most run for the hills. Oftentimes you can't talk to me again for a couple of years. There's people who have met me. I've asked if they wanted to do a virtual tea or did they want to show up for a session. They can't show up at the last second. They can't even respond appropriately or politely. But then I get to run into them 2 or 3 years later, and they're nice. And half the time they don't even remember meeting me. I just had a show host, I'll be on our April show, who mentions it in the April show about not even remembering the whole thing. And that's just, there's so much going on. There's a sizzle. I've got dogs barking at me from a distance. They're just seeing the light. That's fine. Look, I got to deal with this as well. I got as much thinking as the next person out there. I'm just trying to say the world with its mysterious ways is much bigger than any of us are ever going to grasp or appreciate. So you might as well flip that pancake and get with it and be like, whoa, it's way bigger. Why don't I be more appreciative and thankful, practice gratitude and allowing, and follow where I'm flowing? Am I shooting the arrow this way straight up like most of us? Like I'm going to do this afternoon or tomorrow and next Friday. But once in a while, hopefully I'm shooting my arrows away, and hopefully I'm ditching the bow and arrow altogether to get out of thinking, to be here, to just to go for my runs and to let go of the stress on the first mile, by the second mile to settle into here, and by the third mile say, trees, cedar trees in San Antonio, I love you. Touch a cedar tree. Trees are very alive. They're holding the space for us in more ways than you'd believe. You want to see the light on the trees and knock out all the thinking that resists the concept that trees could be conscious? Do you want to just jump past all the thinking that says any of this is possible? You're bucking Hinduism, you're bucking all the different religions and philosophies. They all point to there's more here and more connectedness to all there is. I love this because experience is the only way. You have to go through what you know, and what you know, we'll do it from the perspective of Einstein. The consciousness level that says my problem is, my situation is, this problem is not the consciousness level, as he said, that will solve that problem and allow you to move on past it, or the life stage, or the divorce, or the health crisis. You have to go through something, you have to broaden out. This is called living life and appreciating life and expanding in life. Life is constant growth and expansion. It's not about knowing. Science is stuck in knowing. Most of us most adults are stuck in knowing, or just being the best we can be in a certain quadrant, as an athlete, as a business person. But so there's very few human beings that understand that there's a huge difference between knowing and expanded learning, growth and expansion, continued learning, growth and expansion. That's what the real name of life is all about. So angels are here to help. You're not getting judged, and it doesn't matter how much of a Scrooge you were or how much of a Scrooge I was last Tuesday. They're here to help you get from point A to B, and then from B to C, and D to E, and it just never stops. Life stages could be 2 minutes, 2 seconds, 2 weeks, 2 years. If you're like a dog that doesn't want to go for a walk and you're resisting all the way and you don't even know what love is and you want to be really mean to people, maybe this lifetime it's not going to happen. There's plenty of people who are not going to meet angels in this lifetime, but there's tons of people. I mean, angels are completely available. You can see them in full-on human form, absolutely full-on human form. You pinch them. I don't think they're going to say ouch. They might laugh, pinch you back. You say ouch. Sparkly eyed, saying just what you were talking about the night before. Just absolutely wonderful. I'm not kidding when I say miracles are here and now. So you're more connected to everything there is. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to go to Machu Picchu. You do maybe want to just find a way to shimmy those hips in privacy of your kitchen, dance, sing more, play music, go for higher vibes, find ways, light a candle safely, pet your dog longer. Instead of being on the phone when you come in the door from work, hug that dog who's been waiting all day to see you. You can listen to your dog and hear, daddy, daddy, I love you, or mommy, mommy, I love you, and let them lick you 3 times. Good luck with that. Your brain's going to be like, I don't want her to lick me, and going to fight it all the way. This is your opportunity to recognize what your ego, your psyche, your restrictions are that preclude more love in the moment. That's all this is about. And it's expanding the reality, the field in which you walk, the field in which you operate. The field is love. The field is, there's a bunch of technical terms depending on which group does it out there. So my job is to actually help you meet your own cheerleading squad, your own angels, guardian angel, if you're a writer, meet your muses. You can reconnect with a few loved ones. That's between you and angels. You chat with angels once you've gotten the airplane out of the hangar, practiced all the controls, talked to air traffic control. That's angels. You've gotten the plane off the ground. Throw me out of the plane with a parachute or park me on the tarmac. Do your loop-de-loops, your barrel rolls, your, everything else. And then you're ready to check with angels. Hey, is it okay to meet Aunt Martha? Yes. You can do it with your eyes shut that way on a beach. But you can also see full on in the backyard or right here. I've had people see angels standing right here with, your relative right next to them. It's what will you allow for all of this? And so that's the rub, is what will you allow for? Ditch angels, ditch the universe, ditch all the spiritual experts, ditch Dr. Joe Dispenza, quantum this, quantum that, ditch India, ditch every religion, ditch every philosophy. What will you allow for daily? That's the rub on everything. Are you allowing for more love, fun, sparkle, humor, laugh, hugging, all the positive 1 million ways you could roll, more athletics, more breathing, more yoga, more writing, more doing your poetry that you used to love when you were 12, more making models, plastic models, ships, airplanes, having more fun playing. Are you growing stuff? Are you growing your own vegetables? Are you learning how to do horticulture? Are you taking photos? Are you engaging people? Are you waving to complete strangers? Are you sharing love? Are you cultivating your own love? That's really the rub. Go to a mirror, say, I love you 1,000 times. If you're crying by the 3rd time you say I love you and you break down, or it takes 300 times to get yourself to crack wide open because you're not used to telling yourself I love you, that's where you start. It has to start with, where are you putting all your poker chip stacks? That's the resistance. Your knowing is one stack. Most of it is just a complete waste of energy. Know what you know, that's fine, but can you separate it long enough to do basic listening, feeling, and practicing love? Love is not knowing. Not knowing is love. That was deep. If I can remember this, I'll cut that out of the video or something. But look, letting go, not knowing anything is actually how it works. Everyone's going to, historically, mankind over 3,000, 10,000 years, entire systems of thought, organizations, based on killing people too, have been based on the opposite. You have to know certain stuff or you're not progressing and you're not part of the club. And there's violence usually associated with that. So this is about the opposite. This is about, Let It Be, all the Beatles songs, loving more, allowing more, less thinking, when you can remember to remember, if you can remember to remember. I've got angel photos at my website all over these shows. I'm not pulling any up today. You can, if you want, break all your structure, do a circle, don't make a fire, break a circle, do a circle. Ask angels to come in. Here's the first try. Just see the normal Bic lighter light. Say white, gold, yellow, clear. I think there's a little blue underneath the yellow, in between the lighter and the flame. Now ask angels to come in. Breathe extra. Remember, my only phrase or structure is, hey, angels, make this nice. Get me out of my head into my heart. Help me see some extra sparkles, rainbow, purple, blue, pink, whatever's not normally associated with the Bic lighter. Ask for a mini miracle. Do it after you've gone for a walk, though. Come back and play this part if you don't get it the first time. Catch some sage. You could smell sage right now while you're looking at the lighter. Let extra light go around the light. Let an angel do their job. But you could just see a little ball of light when you're least expecting it is the number one point of opportune moment for an angel to pop in. You're in the shower, tons of suds, and you're like, whoa, what is that? A little ball of light. That's it. You did it. These pot lights right there, recessed lights, first thing in the morning, before you know your name, had a cup of coffee, had a smoke, brushed your teeth, had a single thought. Rush out to look at the pot light, leave a little post-it note to remember this. You'll see rainbow light all over it. And if you really want to go crazy, look out at the trees. You'll see rainbow light everywhere. And that's what this is all about. Get beyond the restrictor plate that's your brain to enjoy more love and share more love with all. Thank you very much. Michael André Ford in Texas. Have lots of fun. Have more fun when you can remember to remember, if you remember to remember. Thank you.